Hello everybody, SirMonkeySuit here, back again with me in the Abyss. We're on episode 6 right now. In the last episode, it's getting pretty dark and it's getting pretty grim. It's not getting, I tell you what, it's not getting dark here. You see how bright it is? Fucking sun shining in. I feel like it hasn't done that in a while. I feel like we haven't had like the angelic monkey suit in a while. But it's here now. So yes, it's getting dark and it's getting grim. Like I thought it would do. I had a fucking sneaking suspicion from like episode 1 or episode 2 that it was like there's something just a bit too cutesy and not quite right. Yeah, and that was confirmed. So great. We've got Reg who seemingly hurt himself. I'm pretty sure it was. So I have this whole theory of Reg being either like being a real boy at some point. But in order to handle the ascent or descent into the abyss, and from the abyss, like he had to become a robot essentially. So you know, or more or less a cyborg. Yeah, we have reached the Seeker Camp, is what it's called, which is where Ozen lies, or Ozen stays. She seemingly has a problem with Rico for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Like, one thing happened when she was a baby, something that she couldn't control. But no, Rico's the brat, isn't she? There always has to be one. Always has to be one. Without fucking always. Anyway. Yes. That's it. I think that's all we need to talk about for discussion. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go, episode 6. Feeling the effects of ascending.
よく登ってこられたね。この辺は負荷が緩くなっているとはいえ、子供にはきつかったろうに。知ってるよ、ライザの子だね。汚いな。
この女が白笛、動かざるオーゼン。
Stop picking away at it.
あなたがオーゼンさんですよね。その笛を見つけてくれたって、助けてくれてありがとうございます。
This is a fierce planet.
リーダーから聞いたんです。アビスの中で生まれた私を呪いよけのカゴに入れて、それでお母さんと一緒に地上まで運んでくれたって。
ああ、あれね。 重くてさ、置いとけばあの子も来てくれたんだよな。惜しいことしたな。
What kid?
おしさま。
君は赤笛だろう。ダメだろうに、こんなところまで来ちゃ。とは言っても。 赤笛がどうやってここまで来られたかには興味があるけどね。マルルク。
はい、おしさま。
この子たちの話聞いといて。
僕がですか？お二人ともこれを。あ、青笛。
Interesting.
ここにいる間だ。
So if anyone finds them,
他
they
の
can.
探掘家に赤笛がここにいる理由をいちいち説明するのも面倒かろう。
So there's not a cave right here, I think.
きちんと体も洗っておくように。まったくゲロ臭くてかなわん。
このシーカーキャンプはダイポルタという木の洞穴を利用して作られているんです。今も少しずつ内側の枠を広げて縦増ししているんですよ。 このダイポルタの根っこはアビスの外、遠く海の底まで伸びているそうです。ここ使ってください。お風呂、
It's quite nice.
そっちです。本当は異物を洗う場所ですけど。私行ってくる。綺麗になってくる。
どこしへ行と言ったっけ。本当にどこにでもあるんだな。
レグさんはロボットなのに不思議ですね。リコさんに言われるまでは人だと思っていました。だから腕が伸びた時はちょっとびっくりしましたけど。どうされました？
マルルクでいいのかな。
はい。
あ、マルルク。
実は僕も不思議に思ってることがあってだな。
何ですか？僕に答えられることなら何なりと。
君は女なのか？
I swear to God, if this is another trap. For Christ's sake. That's a cheeky tap. You see the size of it? It's huge. It's a boy, innit?
やだな、レグさん。ごめん、レグ。何か。
That's why she's not bothered, because she thinks it's a girl. It's a boy. I'm not getting fucking caught out again. I'm not getting caught out again like I did in Steins Gate.
マルルクちゃんは私と同じくらいなのにもう青笛なんだね。青笛になれるのは15歳からですが、白笛の直弟子ということで特別らしいです。地上へは帰らないの？僕、日の光に弱くて地上で暮らせないんです。そうなんだ。いちいち地上に戻らなくていいって理由らしいんですが、もちろん本心も入っているんでしょうけど、本当によくしてもらってるんです。なんだか怖そうな人だったけど、いいお師匠さんだね。本当に。
この部屋にある異物は何なんだい？リコがいじり始めてしまったの。
大丈夫ですよ。こっちが私の太陽玉。似てるけど、ここで取れた方のが複雑な形してる。異物って真相にあるものほど複雑な形をしてるのが多いそうですよ。この辺で取れるものはまだ4割くらいは卵型の異物なんです。
All if they are actually
大昔の
eggs.
人が使ってた道具なのに不思議ですよね。
The tools
いいなぁ。
used by
降りたいなぁ。もう少しここで探掘とかしていきませんか？いいの？同い年くらいの子がここに来たのって初めてで、僕、お二人と一緒にもっとお仕事とかしたいです。私もしたい。ごめんね、マルルクちゃん。まだ奈落の底にいるお母さんがどんな感じかわからなくて、だから急いでいいのかどうかもわからなくて、わからないから急がなくちゃいけないんだ。そうですか。
You had to go disappoint them, didn't you, Rico? Christ. Give them something to look forward to, man. Who could it be?
オーゼンさん？誰かいるの？
The hell is that? It was like a almost like it was like a skeleton shape. I could definitely see a spine. It didn't have a head. It was almost like just a body skeleton.
リコさん、僕も一昨年までやってましたし。
しかしリコ、なぜまた僕の寝床で
Did you piss the bed? Christ's sake.
やだな、リコさん。シーカーキャンプにお化けの噂はありませんよ。でも、王子様。
面白そうな話をしているね。あの子にもハボルグにも何も知らされてないのか。
ハブログ？
それって何の？
知りたいかい？
The fuck's a hablog?
ついておいで。
What?
君たちのことは 今朝マルルクから聞いたよ。確認したいんだけどさ、君はライザの行方を追っているとか。ライザは死んでいる。
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
君が母を追う旅は
That's what I thought. I thought she would know or say something about that.
4層巨人の杯の奥に常しえ港の群生地があってね、そこに墓ができてたんだよ。
Yeah, but
あそこさ、ライザが好きな場所だったんだ。
so what? I was saying that she dug herself a grave.
お母さんは私を呼んで。
それライザの字じゃないよ。
ここは何だい？
資質さ。知りたいからついてきたんだろう。
Got some get up there. What was that? I don't know if I'm supposed to know what that is. Have we seen something like that before? I don't know if we have. It looks like... It looks like a marble type material. What was she like? Wait a minute. What was she gonna? I thought she was bringing along. Two seconds. Yeah. So she's talking. She's talking about. Come with me if you want to know what's going on with that weird monster thing, whatever. Right? That's what she's. Well, at least that's got something to do with it, right? So what the fuck is that material then? I'm trying to go back in my memory and think if there's been anything that's even remotely like that material and what it could be used for, which would give me some inkling as to what it's for. It's just a block that looks like marble. It's got like a bit of fucking like sort of like a rainbow kind of color aesthetic going on. I mean, there's something interesting about the fact that it looks like it can generate its own light. So that's something. Maybe if it can generate its own light, then I don't know, it's magic. Maybe if it can generate its own light, maybe Reg has like got some similar components to that, in which case he can like almost make his own sort of make his own energy kind of thing. I don't know though. I don't know what that big cube has. Like, well, I haven't seen. I'm positive we have not seen anything like that in these past. But the problem is that when you wait a week between stuff, it could have just been something simple as like, I don't know, like a 3-second clip of where you saw something. You know what I mean? And it could be this, but I'm positive I haven't seen anything similar to that. It may just be a cliffhanger, just like letting people know, like, oh, wait a minute, what's that? What's that all about? As opposed to like, oh shit, it's that thing. It must be. So it must be the former. It's just something. Unless that was the curse repelling vessel thing, or it's something similar to that. Curse repelling vessel. So theoretically, if you were to use that, could you go to the bottom and potentially come back? Would that be possible? I don't know. I'll have to see. But it's possible that that could be that cube could be like a curse repelling vessel kind of thing. I remember the what it looked like. It was kind of red on the inside, but on the outside it was more like sort of. It did have more like of a stony kind of texture. I don't know if it was marble or not, which is what it looks like at the end of this episode, but I don't know. It is weird that it's a cube though. And how would it open up? I don't know. Ozin mentioned some kid, some child, like when she was helping Liza carry Rico up to the surface. Like, she was like, oh, if I had left you there, I can't remember what she said. She was like something could have been done about that child. I don't know. I don't know what she... And she said it again later, and when she was like, that kid or Hablog. Who the fuck is Hablog? What is that? What is it? That kid or Hablog? Is Hablog the actual name of Habbo? And Habbo is just a sort of more nickname, and Hablog, and then that kid is probably Lida, right? Possibly. But yeah, those two never told Rico anything. So there's something, yeah. So Lida and Habbo like knew that Liza was dead then, and they just left it up to Ozin to. God, man. You know how at the start of episode 5, like in the pre-discussion, I was talking about how like, okay, I'll let it off at the fact that like that they are allowing Rico to just go into the abyss, and they're fine with it. Like, I let that slide, but the more that I learn about them, and that this is depending on whether or not like that kid or Hablog is actually, you know, that who she's talking about there is Lida and Habbo, right? That's assuming that that's who she's talking about. If that's the case, and what she's talking about is, oh, Habbo and Lida didn't tell you that Liza was dead, then, you know what I mean, the further this goes along, the more like sort of annoyed I get with them, because I let the whole thing slide of like them being all right with Rico going into the abyss, right? I was like, okay, maybe that's just the way the world is. It's not as idealistic kind of thing as our world is. They grow up around the abyss, their life revolves around it. All right, okay, I'll give leeway to that. But sort of like letting this come out from a bitch as like from Ozin, you know what I mean, instead of from their own mouths, like, you know what I mean, like, why would you, if you knew, why would you let her, why, you know what I mean? I don't know. I like, if that is who she's talking about, then Lida and Habbo are just like, to me, they're like they're just doing bad after bad, in my opinion. Like, you know what I mean? But you know, you guys will have to tell me if that's who Ozen's talking about when she says that kid or Hablog. Is it Habbo and Lida, and that's who she's talking about? We'll have to see. But yeah, right. So we've got Marulk, who is sensitive to sunlight. I feel sorry for him. I'm saying him until proven otherwise. I'm not falling into the trap. Yeah, he's sensitive to sunlight. I feel sorry for him because, you know what I mean. Like, he was so like excited. It's like, yeah, like kids my age. Like, there's never kids that come down this far. Like, you know what I mean. Oh, we should go like excavating again. It's like, and then Rico's like, oh no, I can't. I've got to go down there. It's like, oh come on. You know what I mean? A little fucking excavate. You can't go on a little excavate like a little mission. You know what I mean? You can't go on just a little one. You know what I mean? It's not like it's going to take that much time, is it? Just, you know, give him something to fucking be excited about. You know what I mean? Like, he lives down here. Like, you know what I mean? He never gets anybody his age around there. Also, I'd like to know how long he's actually been down there. Was he an assistant, a sort of assistant to Ozen from up above? Because it seems like this is where Ozen like kind of sets up shop and whatnot. So why was someone so young down there? You know what I mean? In the first place, you know? Unless they were just like, oh no, it's sensitive to sunlight. Ozen, you take care of it. We'll send them down and do that. But yeah, I feel sorry for him. He's a good-hearted kid. There's an age limit on the whistles and stuff like that. So the only reason why Meryl got a blue whistle was because it's, you know, I mean, she's the assistant of those, and it's kind of like, to be down there anyway, you shouldn't have a red whistle. You should have at least a blue whistle. So I guess, you know, it was just an exception for her. But generally, you have to be 15 years of age in order to get a blue whistle. So, you know what I mean? And Rico's 12, I believe, right? So should really be wait 3 years. But yeah, that's not gonna happen. My thoughts were like, were Liza and Ozen more like rivals, and it was more like a kind of thing. It's like, I feel like maybe it's something like the reason why Ozen's such a bitch is because she, like, I don't know if I can liken it to All Might and Endeavor from My Hero, right? Like, Ozen's like, you know, Ozen is like the Endeavor in this situation, where like, you know, Liza was the best one, you know what I mean? She got all of the best like relics and whatnot and shit like that, and like, so Ozen was like, you know what I mean? She was jealous of it and shit like that. I can see it probably being that. It's just, I don't know, I feel like it possibly might be, it might be that way. Yeah, back when Marulk was asking if Rico and Reg would go out on an excavating mission with him, Rico almost like forgot where she was for a second, and I think it's an interesting note to point out exactly where she is mentally, where she's still a kid, like she's, because she is now away from from the orphanage and all of the kids, you know what I mean, like I don't know how, it doesn't feel like they've been out that long. I don't think there's been like any time skip really since they left, so it feels like it could only be like maybe a couple days at most, but it does, I think it shows like the way that she was acting there, where she almost forgot where she was, and she was like, oh no, like, and then she finally come back and she was like remembered, like, oh no, I need to go down to the bottom because my mother's waiting there for me. I don't know how much time I have or whatever like that. And she almost forgot that that's what her mission was for a second. It almost felt like maybe she felt like she was back up top kind of thing, you know. But yeah, the egg, sort of weird egg relics. They're strange. And there seem to be, no matter how far up or down you go, well, at least as far down as we have actually seen in the show, there seems to be eggs anywhere, right? Just different styles. But they say as far, like, Marulk says the further you go down, the more complex they get. And it makes me wonder if eggs are... if they look like eggs for a reason, you know? Like, they said it was more like tools that the people used in the past, like ancient people from the past or whatever, that they used tools. But I don't know, I just think like maybe there's a reason why they look like eggs, and maybe it's because they kind of are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if this is like stupid to say, but maybe they were creating artificial life, and maybe that's why there is sort of strange exclusive creatures around this abyss, because they, like, there was artificial life being created from these eggs. Or I mean, or it could, if it's not artificial life, then it could be, again, what I described. I can't remember what episode, but I did say maybe it could be something alien, and maybe like a meteor crashed, there was alien life, those eggs are alien life, and that's what all of these weird creatures are. But I don't think it's a coincidence. I think there's a significance to the fact that they are egg shaped, and the fact that they seem to be prevalent everywhere, no matter how high up or how far down you go. So I don't know. I do remember that the ones that Reg found up at the top, his were like sort of had a weird texture, right? Like kind of bit squishy and whatnot. And I was like, oh, maybe they're the same materials what his skin's made out of, or something like that. But if it's squishy, then there's some sort of possible membrane that an egg would have. The question is whether or not they are sort of, what's the word? It's not docile. Like, what's the word? Like unfertilized? No, maybe not that either. Sort of like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe there are eggs like trapped in time. Maybe there's like a fetus inside, but maybe something needs to activate them in order for them to come out. You know what I mean? As opposed to how like a normal egg would work. How an egg would work. Oh my god, Zach, you come out with the most stupidest shit sometimes. You really do. Yeah. That monster thing, whatever the hell that was, I don't know what that was. it looked unfinished. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't seem like it didn't seem finished. There was a kind of layer of some kind of skin over the torso area, but it was in the shape of like a rib cage and whatnot. But there was a spine that was out the back that was a literal spine. Like it was like that was bone. It didn't have a head, and that's why I'm thinking like it sort of seems unfinished, you know. And I think maybe that's why it popped into my head, kind of, you know, that the egg relics, if they are in fact eggs, that it's artificial life, meaning that these eggs, maybe Ozen is using them to create artificial life, and that monster was a result of like her sort of somehow activating this egg that's creating that. You know, it's kind of, there's some sense to be made there, I think, just because of the way the weird fucking creature looked. It just kind of wasn't finished. I feel like I don't know, it's very strange. I'm sure we'll get more answers to it next week, but we're gonna have to fucking wait until next week. So I'm just trying to get out all the fucking possible theories. Eternal Fortunes. I like these flower things. I don't know what significance they have either. Like, Reg picked up on the fact that they're kind of everywhere. Was he mentioning that they were everywhere in the Seeker camp? It seems weird that Eternal Fortunes would be sort of significant to Liza and her grave, and then there's loads around where Ozen is. You know? Unless Liza was like maybe the one that kind of oversaw the Seeker camp, which I don't know. I don't really feel like she was, because I feel like she was more of an adventurer, not like a person to stay around there like Ozen might be, you know? So, I don't know. It's just strange. Considering Ozen seems to have something against Liza, and yet there's there's a fucking sea of eternal fortunes and a grass meadow somewhere where that's where her supposed grave is, and yet those eternal fortunes are across the Seeker camp as well. And you know, yeah, with this Liza's grave thing, like, you know what I mean? Are we supposed to think that she fucking buried herself? Like, that Ozen just came across this grave and, oh, this stuff was here. That must be Liza's grave. Okay, then. Something doesn't add up there. It really doesn't. Damn it. Fuck's sake. I kind of wish I'd got to see episode 7 this week, because it feels like it would be nice to just have episode 5 as its own this week, and then done episode 6 and 7 on the same week, because it feels like those two episodes kind of, or at least next episode, I feel like it would go hand in hand with this episode 6, but oh well, unfortunately that's not what we'll get to do. We're going to have to deal with it. But yeah, so that is all. That is it. Interesting stuff. I'm really liking this show. It has basically the elements of mystery, like, or basically the elements of a show that I love to react to, because my style of reacting is to discuss, analyze, and theorize stuff. And when you've got mystery, it allows you to do that, and it allows you to do that like a lot. Like there's a lot of meat to these shows. There's a lot to delve into. So you know, like these shows are always great. So you know what I mean. If you're like, if you want to like go on Patreon, whatnot, and you want to pay for like for me to react to a show, you know what I mean. Yeah, you can choose the ones that you know what I mean you like and whatnot. But it may be a good idea if you're looking to like really entice me in a show. Like obviously, like I like all shows, you know what I mean. In my like own way, like any genre can be a great show, you know what I mean. I just really like mystery, sort of, you know what I mean, like where you're watching the show and as the episodes are going along, you're kind of learning little bits of information, and you can kind of, you know what I mean, take them and then puzzle stuff together, like piece them together into a puzzle, and like you kind of sort of create your own theory and own basis for what exactly is happening. You know, and shows like this and Attack on Titan are great examples of that, you know. Death Note would have been exactly the same. Unfortunately, I've already seen it. You know, I would love to fucking wipe my memory of Death Note and just react to it again, because, you know what I mean, you only, like, Death Note was like one of those series, like one of those shows where it's just like, fucking hell, you only get to really experience that show like once, you know what I mean, and you'll never get that experience again, because I just remember the initial like watching of that, and it was special. That show is like ingrained in my mind as like, you know what I mean, like I've never had an experience watching something like that, you know, which is why it's like up there in my top anime of all time. It's so great. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, like mystery shows and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it might be a good idea, like if there's any like mystery shows out there, or whatever, that hopefully I haven't seen. You know what I mean? That I can like delve into and get. You know what I mean, those are good shows. I love that are like almost. You know, they're just great. That is great. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Enough rambling on. Okay, so, yeah, I just want to do this again, because I just want to get this out there, because Michael Ortiz sent me this, and it's just so cool. Like, look at it, it's awesome, absolutely awesome. Yeah, so Michael Ortiz sent me that, and again, like, truly, mate, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. You've done so much for me. Then, you know what I mean. Like, you're paying so much money, like, to me, like, every month, and you know what I mean. I can't thank you enough, man. You're absolutely so appreciative. And then you're the first one to actually send me something. It's absolutely cool as fuck. So thank you, man. If anybody wants to send me stuff, the PO box address is in the description below. I will open them up on camera. You know what I mean. So you know, we can get like a little surprise thing going. It's nice to kind of add to the video and add something else, like another element to it. So if you want to send me stuff, that's the address down there, you know what I mean, at the PO box. And that'll get to me, like, it gets delivered to me like every month, so you know, we'll be able to have some fun with that. Please join the Discord. The link is also in the description. Please join the Discord. We've got a great bunch of people, like a great community over there, you know what I mean. We're loving life. It's just a comfortable, chill place, you know what I mean. Everyone there is great, so you know what I mean. Come along, chat with us, do whatever you want to do. We've got a new sort of like D&D thing going on, so if you like Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot, and you want to come play with us, we've got that being set up, and we're gonna have our first game on Sunday, I believe. We've also got like Rabbit streams, so if you've never heard of Rabbit before, you know what I mean, there's this sort of website that's called Rabbit, and basically one person can like stream whatever it is they're watching, and 25 people can watch it at the exact same time. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean, if you come in, get involved with the community and make some friends, you can watch anime together and watch shows and fucking movies and shit like that. You know what I mean? But it's really cool. So, you know what I mean, I'd urge you, get over there. I'm pretty much there all the time as well. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm there like another one of the other people that's there. You know what I mean? We're chatting, we're getting along. It's amazing. It's really cool. We're just chilling, having a good time. And finally, Patreon. You know, you can go to the link in the description. It'll tell you all the tiers that's there. I said in the last video, basically, I am changing some stuff around to make it more appealing to be a patron. I think, as it stands right now, to be like early access, it's fine. But like, once you're kind of caught up with everything, you're still waiting a week. You know what I mean? You at that point, you basically might as well have just, you know, got on YouTube and just did it that way, and you're waiting a week anyway. You know what I mean? So, I'm thinking of increasing the output of videos on Patreon as opposed to YouTube. So YouTube will stay at like 2 videos a week for a show, whereas on Patreon I'm going to up that, and hopefully I'll be able to handle it. So yeah, you'll get like so like instead of getting 2 episodes a week, you'll get 4 episodes a week, you know. So, you know what I mean, the uploads will be so much faster over there on Patreon. You know what I mean? We'll be basically smashing through the like these different series at double the pace over on Patreon. You know what I mean? So if you want to get access to reactions to shows earlier and faster, then I would urge you to go over to Patreon and get the early access thing. But if not, you know, we're still gonna do the same. It's gonna be 2 episodes a week, which is, you know what I mean, which is pretty good, I'd say. You know what I mean? A lot of channels do like maybe like 1 a week, and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean, I try to do the best for everybody. You know what I mean? I'm gonna see though. I'm gonna see what we can do. We've also got something special coming up as well involving Patreon that I have yet to announce, because I want that to be like its own video. I'm kind of changing stuff around. I want to change some of the tiers so that it's more enticing and more appealing for patrons to actually, you know what I mean, so their hard-earned money is actually worth it. You know, it's actually worth it for you. So I'm going to be changing some stuff around. Yeah, this whole secret Patreon thing that I've got planned will be announced in a video coming up probably within the next week and a bit. I'm sure I'll put it up at like the weekend at some point, so I don't think it's going to be this weekend, possibly next weekend. All right, so just keep an eye out for that video, because it's big news. It's big, important news. So yeah, that is all. I've shilled. That went on longer than I really should have, so sorry for making you guys have to watch that. But yeah, so that is all. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.